Hey guys, it's Thanimal, and today we're going to be doing a haul video for GP Vegas. So I got back yesterday and crashed, and then woke up, and now we're going to be doing the video on all the cool stuff that I was able to pick up. I wasn't able to pick up nearly as much as I wanted to, and a lot of the stuff that I acquired, I didn't really have a lot of money, in fact. This is my first time going to a Grand Prix. I was also going to Vegas, and so my budget wasn't as healthy as I wanted it to be. And so there's a lot of things I wanted to get, and most of the cards and singles you'll see are cards that I had to trade for. But there are a couple of things that I decided to buy. So we're going to go through a whole process of this. Let's first start off with the art that I purchased. So, first of all, let's go this way. There we go. So this is the art for Enter the Infinite by Therese Nielsen. I stayed in line for an hour. It was ridiculous. She always had a massive, massive line. I actually didn't know she was going to be here at this GP. She was a very late announcement. And I didn't even find out until I was actually there. Until I'm like, let's check out these artists. And I walk up and I just see this massive line and Therese there. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's crazy. So, at any rate, what I ended up doing is she has an hour-long lunch break. And I ended up coming a half hour before she was scheduled to be back at her lunch break. And there was still, like, a ton of people in line. I think there's probably 12 people in line in front of me. And by the time she even got back, we were crossing out and down a set of stairs. It was ridiculous. You might see a bit of that video in the vlog that I do. But at any rate, I stayed in line for an hour because this is very, very important to me. And so I got this. Her prints are quite reasonable, only $10 for this print. Obviously, the larger ones are more expensive. But the other piece of artwork I got is this. Now, a lot of you might not recognize this card, and that's okay, because this is from Planeshift. And this is Airtie the Corrupted. I'm not sure if it actually says it on there. It doesn't. This is Airtie the Corrupted. This is the first ever Magic card that I purchased online. I purchased a foil copy for around about $10, $10 or $15, like way, way back in the day. And I've loved it ever since. I actually dismantled it because the deck was getting so much hate. I'm thinking about remaking it now, but I went to Mark Teeden, who's the artist, and I wanted him to sign that copy of the first ever Magic card I bought online. And I looked at all his other stuff, and for those of you who don't know, Mark Teeden does a lot of really iconic artwork. He's done Nevinyrral's Disc, he's done Fireball, he's done like a lot of really like up there things, and so I kind of expected, looking at these things, seeing all. I can't even name them off the top of my head. There's so many iconic cards that he's done the artwork for. Heck, one of them is Emrakul, the first Emrakul. I mean, like, so. Anyways, I was fully expecting all of those, and then I see in the corner of my eye this. He actually brought a print of Airtie the Corrupted, and I'm like, this has to be. And I talked to him about it, and he's like, I usually don't bring this because nobody buys it. And I'm like, well, I'm going to buy it. So I bought it, and now I just got to get it framed. But even if I don't end up making this Commander a thing, I still am going to appreciate that this is one of my introductions to Commander. And so I'm really, really happy to have this piece. Now on to the two playmats I was able to pick up. Both of them were just given to me as entering the event. So let's... Yeah, I know I have slippers on. Come on. I can do whatever I want. First one is this Grand Prix playmat. We got the 25 logo here. And the only thing I don't like about this is that it seems very simple, and it also has the names of all of the celebrations that are going to be going on. But I was obviously just at Las Vegas. I understand that, though. They're making a lot of these playmats. They don't want to make maybe a certain amount. They just don't know how many are going to come to each one of these events. So it's better that they just make a bunch with all the names on it. But I'm glad I have it. And then above here is the Pauper playmat that was given out, which just looks gorgeous. I love it so, so much. I've heard that you can actually purchase this from the artist without all this extra like Channel Fireball stuff on it. But I actually don't mind. To me personally, like, I get that this won't be as unique as a playmat as other people's, but I actually like the fact that it says that I was at Grand Prix Vegas at the Pauper Championship. I don't mind at all. And, yeah, so those are my two playmats, and now onto the cards. Now, I can't find my tripod, I bet you I'm gonna like look around. It's gonna be right here, but it's not. So we're gonna have to do it like this. I'm gonna try to get all the cards in frame, and I'm sorry if I won't. So, we have an order to do things in. I have one card that fits in one random category, which is this one, Kataki War's Wage. I've been meaning to pick this up as Artifact Hate for my sideboard for Naya humans. Sorry, Naya allies in Modern. So I'm glad I have it. And this was just like $1. So picked that one up. That's nice. So the first category of cards is just random stuff that I picked up. This is probably the least exciting. I'm kind of going to build up to the most exciting stuff. I picked up some spicy meatballs, let me tell you. But this is just cool stuff I picked up. This was in my beta qualifier in my Steel tournament. I picked up a Thran Temporal Gateway in foil. I want to test this out in Commander and just see how it works. I actually picked up a non-foil one as well, just in case somebody wants to trade for the foil one. I just want to test it out. Muldrotha of the Gravetide. So about this card, I actually went over to Ruben Bressler from Magic Mike's fame, and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to play." He was doing spell slinging at the time, which, if you don't know, is when you go up to celebrities and they sit down and you play a game of Magic, and if you win, they usually give you a booster pack. But in my experience, as long as you're like a cool person and you're nice to them, they'll actually probably just give you a booster pack anyways. At this rate, I come up to him, and this was in the middle of one of my dead rounds in the beta qualifier. I had an hour to kill, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to play?" And he's like, "Yeah, what format?" And I'm like, "I don't have anything but my sealed deck." And he's like, "Well, how about we just play Pack Wars?" And so he just hands me a pack. I'm like, "Okay, cool." I didn't get the Muldrotha. He did. So I start playing out creatures, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. But then he throws down Time of Ice, and then he draws this, and he had the natural Wooburg, so he just slams it down. Time of Ice bounces my 2 creatures. He recasts Time of Ice, recasts the creature I killed earlier, and I just got completely blown out by this in Pack Wars. It was a savage beating, but he gave me the Muldrotha afterwards, so I'll make a nice little fun brawl deck with this. I got a Return to Dust. This is just like, somebody had like what they called a dollar bin. This wasn't a vendor, this was just another player. And I found this in here, I'm like, oh, these are actually like really, really good cards. So I got that. Got 2 foil Soul Wardens. Just picked those up. Yeah, I think I just picked those up from Shash bins. People would just leave their draft chaff in these boxes near the land station, and you could just pick them. And sometimes you'd find cool stuff, so I found a couple of foil Soul Wardens. Actually, no, never mind. These were both from a player. Never mind. Also picked up a Misdirection. I don't want a ton of these cards, but hey, it's decent. Picked up Days, Collective Voyage. These are all from the same trader, by the way. Did pick up Eternal Witness. I kind of feel bad that they're so expensive, but man, they're just so nice and so good, and you can never have enough of them, so that's sweet. Picked up my 4th Metallurgic Summonings. Those who know me know I love this card way too much. But I finally picked up my 4th copy, so I'll be able to put this in some Commander decks or something. I picked up the full cycle of Battle for Zendikar dual lands, and I've been meaning to pick up more of these. These just seem like really, really good budget alternatives, especially when you're running a lot of basics in a Commander deck. Picked up a Japanese foil. I'm not really big on like Japanese foil Absence Pilgrim. I'm not really huge on cards that are in different languages, because you run into that guy who just doesn't know what this card does, and that can be really, really awkward. But this is pretty simple. You just tap it for a white mana, and so I figured I could probably use this in a cube in the future. So maybe not good enough for my main cube, but I believe it can just fit right into my peasant cube. So we need more mana dorks for that anyways. I picked up a Console Flagship. Picked up 2 Dackmore Salvages. One for me and one for my wife. She already has one in one of her graveyard decks, I believe her Cardor deck, but she has been meaning to make a Muldrotha deck. So I got one for her and one for me and my Muldrotha that I just picked up this weekend. Gaia's Revenge. Those who know me pretty well know that I had a really fun little brew that I'm trying to recreate in Old Standard when Origins was still in, so I'm glad I got this. I actually did this whole deal, I've been doing this a lot, where I'll find a trade that perfectly works, and then I'll just find some random foil that isn't worth a lot of money, and just say, hey, can you throw this in here to sweeten the pig? And so I got this basically for free. I don't do that with anything that's valuable, especially because most of the people I do this with is just like they know that like nobody else is going to want this foil Guy's Revenge. So really happy I picked this up. Also, one of the best cards in cubes if you're not playing it. If you don't have a Craterhoof Behemoth, Guy's Revenge just gets there. It can't get killed by normal means. It basically has hexproof, and it has haste, and it can't be countered. I think this card is actually really underrated in cube. Anyways, Progenitus. Finally picked this up. I'm meaning to pick it up because it's like $3 because it got overprinted in as a promo for last year's Grand Prix promo. And I'm not, it's just one of those things. This is one of those cards that you would love to collect, but sometimes it's a little too expensive. But the fact that it got this GP treatment and we can get it for so cheap, I just wanted to get it before it, snuck back up to $10. So I got it for $3 in a trade, and I felt good about that. The rest of these cards, these 4 cards, I actually picked up in what I was talking about before in the Shash bins. Picked up 2 Factor Fictions, a Captain of the Watch, and an Exsanguinate. These are all just fine cards. I'm really, really happy to have them. So, those are my random stuff, my least interesting stuff. Stay with me. There's spice coming. But one thing that I wanted to pick up... actually, let's just change the order a bit. Let's just go to lands. So I picked up... my wife picked up a Sulphur Falls. I want to get 4 of each of these Bloody Lands because I think they're really, really great. Good bang for your buck. Great mana base for a cube. And and then the rest of these are just promo lands that I picked up. So I got Grand Prix promo Plains, Grand Prix promo Mountain, and then 2 Grand Prix promo. Oh man, now you see them. 2 Grand Prix promo Forests. Unfortunately, I didn't get any swamps or islands, and I heard that a lot of people were trying to find the mountain. And a lot of people were just buying sets from the gift shop, so that was fun. But I ended up getting 4 of those, and then I ended up doing an unstable draft where I got 2 prize tickets. I didn't keep the cards; I just sent them back to the owner of the box. But I got 2 prize packs, and I got an island and a plains. Don't quite know what to do with them now that I only have 1 of each. But we'll see. We'll have a use for them at some point. So something I didn't expect to be purchasing a lot of, but I ended up doing anyways, was purchasing of fancy tokens. Or just acquiring of fancy tokens. So it's something that I have been looking at because I want to make my cube kind of unique. And one of the things I didn't quite realize was how many artists now create their own tokens. Which is fantastic because it allows us to support them at a very low level. I mean, like... some people just don't have $5,000 to buy an original piece of artwork. They just don't have that money, and that's fine. And so being able to, and again, if you wanted to buy a print of everything, let's just say that they're $10 a print, which is actually a pretty good deal. Still, if you want to buy all the cards in print, it's just going to be way too expensive. So tokens is actually a really, really great option. So first of all, I got a couple unstable tokens. These were from the same packs I got the unstable lands from. Vampire and Angel, and these are the ones that have borderless backs, which are very, very pretty. Here is some content creator tokens. Hold on, I gotta sneeze, don't I? Thank you, my friends. Okay. So I got 2 Monarch tokens with Aaron Campbell, Evan Irwin, and then a 1/1 creature token, very generic. Can be used with squirrels or goblins or whatever. So I picked these up, which is great. These are usually only for patrons, but I picked them up from Ruben Bressler. So those are great. These tokens are RK Post tokens. So we got a monkey, a Ragavan token. And it's signed there, and I just like these tokens. So these are RK Post tokens. I got 2 Pack Rat tokens. And these are just going to be great to, because they're Pokemon, and that's just fun. We also have, I don't know what this is. A lot of his tokens are very referential, but I just thought this looked cool. So these are 2 Construct tokens for Karn, spoiler alert. We got a 4/4 Angel, and then I decided to get 5 Zombie tokens. And so these are quite sweet. Sorry, it's the morning, and I've got a morning throat going on. The next tokens are all from Steve Argyle. So this is something I'm actually really excited about. We have 2 Worm tokens, one with Lifelink, one with Death Touch, for Wormcoil Engine. Those of you who know me know I picked up Wormcoil Engine for my cube recently. And so I've been meaning to find these tokens. These were like less than $1 each. And if you buy the official Magic tokens, even if you just get the ones from the Commander sets, they're still like a few dollars each. I think they were like $3 or $4 each. I actually was going to buy the RK Post tokens. I picked up the one with Lifelink, and I'm like, okay, where's the one with Death Touch? Or I think actually I picked up the one with Death Touch, and it said, where's the one with Lifelink? And RK Post said, I don't know, I ordered identical copies of each of them. And somehow one sold out before the other. So I don't know the story behind that, but so I ended up buying them from Steve Argyle because he had both of them. And this is going to be great. Now I have the 2 tokens, color coded too, so that way I can play with my sorry, excuse me. So that way I can play with my new toy, Wormcoil Engine. Speaking of new toys, we got some Monk tokens. Because you'll find out. Don't worry about it. And then I also got some Cat Soldiers with Vigilance 1/1s tokens. And then the last couple of tokens I got a couple very rogue tokens with flying. These are just black ones. And then I got this wonderful spirit, and I want to get much more of this spirit. So it's a ghost with Pac-Man on it, and I just think this is like I'm not a Pac-Man kind of guy, but like I want to get a ton of these tokens. I wanted to get 20. But I just didn't have the money to do it at the time. So we'll just do that a little bit later. But yeah, those are the tokens I'm picking up. I'm really excited to just kind of flare up my cube experience. Let's go on to all the cards I have signed. Now, the 2 ones are not spoils at all because we have Airtie the Corrupted, the Mark Teton, the one I got the artwork from, and then Enter the Infinite in blue metallic from Therese Nielsen. Again, I only had her sign 2 cards, and this was one of them. So, now we have Arbor Elf, which is currently in my cube, and I think it's going to stay in my cube as I get more dual lands into the cube. This is just going to become more and more powerful to fix your mana as well as ramp you. Mind Funeral, also from RK Post. This is just going to go right in my Mill Commander deck. Earl of Squirrel, signed by Mark Rosewater. So I was trying to run into I believe it's Mark Purvis or Mike Purvis, who's the owner of this specific artwork. Matt Cavada was commissioned by his wife to paint this for him, and it's hanging in his office. But I was able to get Mark to sign it because he loves squirrels so much. Shout out to my round 4 Pauper opponent for running Burn. If he wasn't playing Burn, I would have missed getting this signed by Mark Rosewater. Just putting that out there. So here's a Tidehull Sculler by RK Post. That's just definitely going into the cube. This is a Goblin Guide, which is already in my cube, signed by Ruben Bressler. This is a Land of War Elves signed by Dana Fisher. And for those who don't know, Dana Fisher is currently, as the time of this recording, a 7-year-old who's trying to be the youngest person to debut a GP, and she hasn't done it yet, but she is awfully close, and she has many years to do it. I believe the next oldest person would have been 12 when they debuted a GP, so she has many years. She has more than 4 years to do it, but I'm sure she's going to. We have Indestructible Aura. This was actually for my wife, because look at this guy. Have you not seen this Magic card? This is one bad A Mama Jama. You don't want to mess with this guy. And so we actually talked to him about this. We were like, what is the deal with this artwork? And he said back in those days, they didn't get like an art description. They didn't get like a world building thing. They just said, they just got the card name, Indestructible Aura, and do it. And so he's like, I just did this guy, and I really like the whole bird head Egyptian dude. And I'm just like, there's some ice thing and a fire thing, and he just doesn't care. And so I just did it. And we almost got the print for this, but we didn't have the money, so we're going to be buying the print for this later. But we got a signed copy of this card, which is just hilarious. We got Spectral Procession, signed by Evan Irwin, 3 Dude Seriously. If you haven't seen Evan Irwin, or The Magic Show, or Magic Mike's, just go out and check it out, because this guy's awesome. And he has this whole bit about, this is like 3 dudes, seriously. So, yeah, it's great. Evan Irwin also signed my Thrag Tusk, which is actually a Swag Tusk. Found this a while back. You'll notice that in a previous video. And And Evan Irwin used to call this Swag Tusk all the time, so I just wanted him to sign it. This is one of my highlights, actually. So, Karn Scion of Urza, I actually picked this up in my beta qualifier. Still didn't manage to win, that's fine. And I actually got Rich Hagen to sign it, because I was going to have Urza sign it, but his hands were way, way too big. So I had the only person who has ever interviewed a Karn Silver Golem, and I had Rich Hagen sign it, and I was really happy to meet him, and he was exactly as advertised. In fact, when I was talking with him, he was he was talking about the differences in English versus American pronunciations of words. But yeah, I got this Karn signed. This is going into the cube. I just got to find a slot for it. Counterspell by Zach Stella. Got this signed by him. I was so happy when Counterspell got this new reprint, so we're good. We're at 21 minutes, so I'm going to keep this going. This is Mark Poole signing Birds of Paradise. I'm really happy to have this. And I don't think I'm ever going to get tempted to get a foil copy. Gold border is fun, and signed is fun. I'm going to be good with that. Got my Porcelain Legionnaire signed. This is a foil Porcelain Legionnaire for the Pauper Cube. Got my Dinrova Horror signed by Cameron Lauder from Loading Ready Run. Thomas Baxa signed my promo Rise from the Grave. This is probably going to see play in my Peasant Cube soon. This is for my wife. This is a signed Venser Sojourner. And then last but not least, certainly, is Therese Nielsen signing this foil Swords to Plowshares from Battle Bond. This is going to replace the Swords to Plowshares in my main cube, and it's going to stay there until the end of time. Okay, we still have one more stack to go. I know, guys. Stick with me. Stick with me. This is real spice. So I've had this list of cards that I've been wanting to buy, and I made this list, even though it has so many expensive cards on it, I made this list because I was sick and tired of buying subpar cards or trading for subpar cards. You know, there's a lot of really exciting, fun cards in Magic, but they're not necessarily good cards. They're just fun and exciting. And I decided to grit my teeth and say, you know what, fan, you need to just buy those cards, right? You just need to get those cards, get the cards that you need for your cube or for your collection, even if they're expensive. So I ended up trading in $128 worth of rares and paying $25 for this stack here. So, let's see what I got. Starting off with a Johnny Vengeance. This is the either launch day promo or pre-release promo. And I got this one. I'm not crazy about foils for really expensive cards because it's just astronomically expensive. But a non-foil from Shards of Alara was $7. This was $4. And so now I have a good Boros Planeswalker. I'm really happy about it. Next, we got Monastery Mentor. Like I said, this is spicy stuff. This is stuff that's going to go into the cube and it's going to stay there forever. Got a Monastery Mentor. I really wanted to pick this up because it's like $10. I got this one for $10. And it sees tons of vintage play. I wouldn't ever be surprised to see it in modern play. I think this is a great card, and I'm just like, I can't wait around for this just to spike up to 30. I just can't. So I picked it up. Bitter Blossom. Oh my gosh. Bitter Blossom. I can't believe I finally have a Bitter Blossom. This is going to make black a lot better, specifically Rakdos and like aggro strategies. I'm so excited to get Bitter Blossom. Sylvan Library. I told you. This is heavy hitters. Sylvan Library finally got this card. It's going to be in my cube forever. I did have to pay a little bit extra to get this version as opposed to an old white border version, but the wording on this is a heck of a lot better. So I'm super excited about that. Hero of Bladehold, another mythic that I've been meaning to get, and I finally have. Again, white's getting a huge shot in the arm, and maybe too powerful, but that's okay. That means that I can really go ham on the Reanimator strategy. That's my hope, at least. Hero of Bladehold, super excited about. Isumaru, I mean, like, I have a lot of Pikers, a lot of Savannah Lions at 1 mana, and now I just have straight 1 mana 2/2. Super excited about this. I got a Brimaz, finally, another $10 mythic that I can't wait for it to get too expensive, and I feel like this is going to be one of those cards that, like, is just not going to see a reprint in a Masters set. Now, I'm going to eat my words. Go back and comment on this video if they're like, the next Masters set has this at regular rare. But A card sitting at $10 is not enough to gather the attention, so I just decided to pick it up now. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust this just slightly. Okay, so I got Saheeli Rai, and I mainly got Saheeli Rai because she's a $3 planeswalker, and she's a $3 planeswalker that does make infinite combos. Now, I don't really love infinite combos in like Pestermite and Splinter Twin like combos in my cube, but at some point I might want to do that. At some point it's kind of unfair, but so is everything else in the cube. So I wanted to pick up her and Felidar Guardian just so I had that in my toolbox, and it wasn't a lot of money. It was, like I said, this was like a $3 or $4 planeswalker, and again, it's a mythic from a set that wasn't really widely opened. I mean, it kind of was. It wasn't nearly as successful as Dominaria, and so I felt like I needed to pick it up now because this is one of those planeswalkers that might just be $8 in a few years, just because so many people use it in Canadian Highlander, and some people even use it in Commander. So, anyways, I decided to pick it up now. I'm keep on forgetting how to pronounce that, but Creature Tutor is going to be great. If I ever decide to do a creature combo in Canadian Highlander, I now have this card, which is great. Another reason why I picked up Saheeli Rai if I ever want to play Canadian Highlander. And this was like dirt cheap because because it got reprinted at Rare, and yeah, now everybody can have it. Got myself a Vindicate. I'm not sure if I'm going to have this alongside of Anguished Unmaking or if I'm going to replace it with Anguished Unmaking, but I wanted to have a just solid Vindicate. I want to determine to myself, because I felt like overall I would actually rather have Anguished Unmaking. I think that's slightly a better card, but I don't know because I haven't actually played with Vindicate. And I want to make sure that the reason why people prefer Vindicate over the new thing is not just because they're dogmatic and like, this is, we always play with Vindicate, whatever, TIE Fighter Explosion. I wanted to play with both cards and see which one's better, and if I want to run both of them. So, at any rate, we got a Armadillo Cloak. I was surprised. This FNM foil of Armadillo Cloak is $2. So I picked it up. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in my Pauper cube or not, but I'm really glad I have it. Super glad I have it. Jace Vryn's Prodigy. I told you, man. I told you. This is crazy, crazy stuff. Jace Vryn's Prodigy is going into my cube, and it's going to stay there forever. I'm super happy to have it. They did have a damaged from the vault transform one, but it was more expensive. I just decided to get this one. Totally fine with that. I don't need it to be foil. So yeah, Merfolk Looter is just going to be gone, and yeah, finally have this thing. It's actually like reasonably inexpensive. I think it was like $20, $17, something like that. Dragonlord Silumgar, a $5 card that I've been wanting to get in cube, because I want blue-black to literally be control. Not like counter your spells, Wrath of God. I want it to be, I will steal your things. Make all the 2-for-1s. So, Vendilion Clique. Oh, finally have this in my cube. It's just going to be a great powerhouse. I've never played with it before, and so I'm super excited for it. We got a good old Kitchen Finks. I'm going to feel really bad if the next Master set has this at common. Or uncommon or something like that, but this is, I paid $10 for it. I just had to bite the bullet. It's playable in so many formats that I want to play, so yeah. Got Big Grizz, finally. I don't know what I have at the top end of my black creatures in my cube, but I've decided, it's time for Big Grizz. It's time to have that great reanimation target that's in the colors of reanimation, so love it. Mystic Confluence, I am floored. So for those of you in the future, this is right after Battle Bond got released. And so Mystic Confluence is $3. I might pick up more of these because Mystic Confluence is really, really good. And I'm sorry, Steve Argyle, your promo Jace's Ingenuity is going to leave my cube. But don't worry, it'll probably go into my Peasant cube. But Mystic Confluence, I feel like Mystic Confluence is very similar to, what is it? It's the Dictate... It's the Black Dictate. Dictate of Erebos. Yes, Dictate of Erebos. In comparisons with Grave Pact. Where both of them, Grave Pact, I don't have time to go through the cards. We're approaching 30 minutes, and I'm so sorry. But Mystic Confluence is kind of like Cryptic Command, except a little bit, maybe not as powerful, but just as flexible. And it costs 3 blue instead of 1 blue. And so it's really, really nice that you can splash this potentially. I'm just really happy to have it. And $3, I mean, come on. If you've always wanted to have Cryptic Commander in your cube, boom, $3 right now, get it. Then we've got Sigil Paladin. This is going to go into my Peasant cube. Just a good attacker. Pathrazor of Ulamog. There's another massive Eldrazi creature that I want to put into my Peasant cube. We got Chain Lightning, which is going to be in either one of my cubes, because it is a common at one time. Another Tidal Sculler for the Peasant cube. Painseer to... I got this for free, basically. I got this thrown in on a trade. But I'm going to have this promo be in place of the Painseer I have, and then this is going to be here until I get Bob. Got a couple Rift Bolts for both my things, and here is something I'm really excited about. So it's a gold border Survival of the Fittest, which means it's from the Championship World Series decks. It's not legal in any sanctioned tournament. However, it is legal in Cube because, you know, you can say whatever is legal in Cube. This is like a really, really expensive card on the reserve list, if I'm not mistaken. And I got this for $20, but I didn't pay a dime for it. I just traded in a bunch of cards for it. Super happy I picked this up. I never thought I would actually have a Survival of the Fittest. I thought it was just going to be one of those cards that somebody's just going to buy out, hashtag MTG Finance, and then just go crazy with it, and then I'll never be able to get it. But I was able to get this for a bunch of cards traded in. I'm super happy about it. Also, if I'm not mistaken, gold border cards are legal in Canadian Highlanders. So the two formats that I'd ever play this in, it's legal. Picked it up for a bunch of trade-ins. I'm super, super happy. So thank you so much for watching this massively long video. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the cool things I picked up. I'm actually really impressed with how much stuff I picked up for how little my budget was. And it really proves that, like, trading is definitely the way to go. Trade with humans whenever possible, but it's so good to just come in and just have, like, I had like a Masterpiece series invocation of loyal, what is it? Like loyal retainers, and like nobody in my play group ever wanted it, and so I was able to get a pretty good amount of trade-in value just for things like that. And so it made me super happy to be able to just trade for all these cards. This, like I said, this stack here is just representing so much power increase in my cube that I never thought was something I was going to realistically do. And most of it I didn't have to spend too much money for. So, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you like it. Leave a comment if you have a comment, and I'll answer. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll check you guys out later. Bye!